In this video, you'll learn how to model this classic cartoon-style pickup truck in Blender in just an hour. You can make money with it. Once your model is finished, you can put it up for sale on 3D model marketplaces. I'll show you the models I have for sale on platforms like Fab, owned by Epic Games. This marketplace is becoming very popular among video game developers. ArtStation is a great place to upload our models for sale, as they can be seen by company recruiters who see our portfolio and learn that we can also model for sale. CTrader has been on the market for several years and is a great selling option. It also offers freelance jobs where you can apply for 3D modeling projects. RenderHub is another option for selling your 3D models. If you want to support Blender developers so that it continues to be the wonderful free software that it has always been, you can sell your models on Blender Market and support the Blender developer community with each sale. For the concept of this car, I relied on the Vector Stock website. From there, I simply downloaded the image of the car and used it as a reference to create our truck. We will start our truck by modeling a wheel. It is important that we maintain a low polygon count without compromising the quality of our model. This is intended to make the truck usable in video games with a demand for model polygons. This video is recorded at a slightly faster speed, meaning the full modeling video lasted 1 hour and 25 minutes. Here the time is advanced so that the video lasts an hour. It was done this way so that the video doesn't become tedious and boring to watch. If you're currently modeling, I recommend that you pause the video, repeat what I do, and then continue watching. This learning methodology requires you to review and learn about the Blender software and understand on your own how I do it. If you're just starting out, don't worry. As you use Blender, your mind develops muscle memory using keyboard shortcuts, and there will come a time when you'll be surprised at how fast you model once you understand what each key on your keyboard is for. The learning curve is very fast. This modeling methodology can be applied to other things in the 3D world. You can look for other references for whatever you want to model and do it. It's not difficult. It's just practice and dedication. Now that our wheel is modeled, we must separate all the meshes by materials and rename them in the Blender directory. These practices of organizing everything we model serve to be seen as good artists, since it makes it easier for other artists to thoroughly understand the model and its parts when taking them to a video game engine like Roblox or another one they are working with. We apply the mirror modifier on the x-axis to see the copied wheel on the right side. If you see that the mirror works strange as seen here, we must press the Ctrl-A key to reset the origin of the model and all the transformations, and the mirror modifier can be seen correctly. Once applied to all the parts of the wheel, we name the meshes with the letter F at the end to represent the front wheels. And we copy all of them and rename them with the letter R at the end to define the rear wheels. We group all these wheels in a Blender folder to be able to hide them easily and continue modeling. At this point, we have already started modeling the body of our truck. We must apply our whited normals modifier to make it look better. Remember to keep a relatively low polygon count without compromising the quality of our truck. It is good practice in 3D modeling to avoid polygons with more than 4 sides. This is known as GONS. It is highly recommended that our entire model only have polygons or faces with 3 and 4 sides. Therefore, where there are more faces, we will proceed to join points to comply with this. GONS could cause modeling errors and make our surfaces appear flawed. This is why we must maintain clean geometry when delivering our 3D assets. Making 3D models can generate passive income. When we learn to make more complex models, we can sell them for more money on online marketplaces. It's money you make while you sleep. I can attest from personal experience that you do make money doing this. I've had vehicles for sale that were modeled 5 years ago, and they continue to sell and make money. You only put in the effort and work once, but the income can be progressive and long-lasting. 3D modeling is practically endless, and we can specialize in a niche with little competition. In my case, I like modeling antique cars the most. I do it because I have a genuine fascination with classic car designs from the 1930s to the 1960s. However, dedicating myself to this opened the doors to an interesting job market where I've been able to create vehicles for use in video games like GTA. Assetto Corsa American Truck Simulator, and Roblox. Some of my cars have even been used in song videos on YouTube. That's why I recommend modeling what you really like. If you're a fan of airplanes, model airplanes, boats, trains, or motorcycles, it's up to you. The same goes for furry art, Funko characters, or even 3D printed jewelry, which has had a huge impact on freelance job requests on CG Trader. Once you mastered 3D modeling, you can also work in information architecture, present your models in visualization engines like D5 Render, and find work from home in this field. On this YouTube channel, ArqLugo, you can find information architecture modeling tutorials. The message here is to keep trying. Once you master 3D art, you can make a living from it without having to work in person. If you like what you see, support me with a like, recommend this video, or comment that you'd like me to model on my YouTube channel. In the description, there are links to my 3D model stores, so you can verify everything I'm recommending about selling 3D models online. Do you see how this truck is taking shape? It's amazing what you can achieve with just a few basic shapes and a bit of creativity. But you know what? While I'm working on this, I can't help but think about how fascinating the world of 3D art is. It's not just about the creative side, but also about all the opportunities it offers. For example, did you know that 3D modeling isn't just about creating pretty objects? There's an entire industry behind it. From video games to movies, advertising, architecture, and even medicine. Every time you see an ad with stunning graphics or a video game with incredible worlds, there's a 3D artist behind it. And the best part is, you don't need to be a genius to get started. Sure, it takes time and practice, but the tools today are so accessible that anyone can learn. Blender, for example, is completely free and has a huge community that's always willing to help. But let's talk about something that interests all of us: how you make money with this. Because at the end of the day, we all want to do what we're passionate about, but we also need to make a living. One of the most common ways is by working for studios. Whether it's in film, video games, or advertising, there's a huge demand for 3D artists. And not just in big studios. Small companies or startups also need graphics for their projects. Another option is freelancing. Platforms like Upwork, Fiverr, or even ArtStation are great for finding clients. You can work from home, set your own hours, and take on projects that truly interest you. I've already mentioned at the beginning of the video the places where you can sell your models. You can even check the links in the description of this video. There's also the option of teaching. If you enjoy sharing knowledge, you can create online courses, YouTube tutorials, or even have a Patreon where people support you for your content. And let's not forget contests and scholarships. Many companies and organizations run competitions with cash prizes or job opportunities. It's an excellent way to gain visibility and showcase your talent. But you know what? The most important thing isn't just the money. It's the satisfaction of creating something from scratch and seeing it come to life. That moment when your model is ready, you render it, and you think, wow, I made this. That's priceless. Take this truck, for example. It's simple, but it has its charm. And the best part is, it can be part of something bigger. Maybe a video game, an animation, or even a personal project. The possibilities are endless. So, if you're thinking about getting into 3D art, don't hesitate. Start with something small, like this truck, and take it step by step. Don't worry if it's not perfect at first. What matters is to keep practicing and enjoy the process. And remember, 3D art isn't just a career, it's a way of life. Every project is a new adventure, a new opportunity to learn and grow. So keep creating, keep exploring, and above all, keep enjoying what you do. You know what happens when you finally find that niche in 3D art that you're passionate about? It's like lighting a spark. Suddenly, everything makes sense. You start to focus, you dedicate more time to it, and before you know it, you're improving. It doesn't happen overnight, but little by little, you get better. Your projects start to have more quality, more detail, more personality. And here's something interesting. When you're passionate about what you do, people notice. It's not just in your work, but in the energy you put into it. People start talking about you, recommending you, following your work. Maybe not right away, but over time, if you're consistent, you'll be recognized for what you do. That's one of the most rewarding things about this field, seeing how your effort and dedication turn into recognition. But you know what? To get to that point, there's something key: self-discipline. It's not about being a perfectionist to the extreme, but about having that mindset of always wanting to improve. Every project is an opportunity to learn something new, to refine a technique, to experiment with a different style. For example, if you love character modeling, don't just stick to what you already know. Try new tools, study anatomy, play with textures and materials. If you're passionate about environment creation, explore new ways of lighting, composition, visual storytelling. The idea is to never settle, to always go one step further. And this isn't just to impress others, it's for your own growth. Every time you overcome a challenge, every time you master a new technique, You realize you're capable of so much more than you thought. That feeling of personal achievement is incredible. So, if you've already found your niche in 3D art, congratulations. That's the first step. Now, keep moving forward with that mindset of constant improvement. Be demanding of yourself, but also enjoy the process. Because in the end, it's not just about being recognized. It's about feeling proud of what you're capable of creating. Now, as we continue working on our truck, there's something really important I want to emphasize: organization. Yes, I know it might sound boring or overly technical, but trust me, it's one of the habits that separates a good 3D artist from a messy one. And it's not just about aesthetics. It's about professionalism. Let's start with the basics. Separating meshes by name and material. This is something we already did with the wheels. Remember? Each piece has a clear, descriptive name, and each material is properly assigned. Why do we do this? Because when you're working on a project, especially if it's large or collaborative, organization is key. Imagine having to come back to this model 6 months from now, or someone else needing to work on it. If everything is messy, with unclear names or mixed up materials, it'll be chaos. But if everything is well organized with descriptive names like front_wheel_left or main_cabin, and materials clearly assigned, the workflow becomes so much smoother. Not just for you, but for anyone who might need to review or continue your work. And this isn't just for big projects. Even in small projects, keeping your modeling directory organized makes a huge difference. It saves you time, avoids frustration, and most importantly, helps you maintain a standard of quality. Here's a tip I always use. Create a clear folder structure from the start. For example, have a folder for models, another for textures, another for materials, and so on. Within each folder, name everything consistently. Use underscores, avoid spaces, and be as descriptive as possible. This won't just help you. It'll also show professionalism if you share your work with others. Now, let's talk about why this is so important. A disorganized artist who doesn't care about these details can come across as mediocre, even if their work is technically good. Why? Because disorganization reflects a lack of care, a lack of attention to detail. And in a competitive industry like 3D art, those little details make all the difference. On the other hand, an organized artist doesn't just work more efficiently. They also convey confidence and professionalism. When someone opens your project and sees that everything is in its place, that names are clear, materials are properly assigned, they immediately think, this person knows what they're doing. So, as we keep moving forward with our truck, I invite you to adopt this habit. Don't do it just because you have to. Do it because of the way of respecting your own work and the work of others. Organization isn't just a technique. It's a mindset. It's the difference between being an artist who just gets things done and an artist who does them well. And don't worry if it feels a little challenging at first. Like everything, it takes practice, Start with small projects like this truck, and little by little, you'll see how it becomes second nature. The key is consistency. Remember, 3D art isn't just about creativity. It's also about discipline. And organization is a fundamental part of that discipline. So, as we keep modeling, think about this. Every name you assign, every folder you create, every material you organize is another step toward becoming the artist you want to be. And that, my friends, is what makes all the difference. Have you ever felt like your motivation just disappears? That despite loving what you do, there are days when everything feels like an uphill battle. And when you add the fear that artificial intelligence might replace us, it's easy to fall into doubt and lose that drive. But today, I want to talk about this because I firmly believe that as 3D artists, we have something no machine can replicate. Our essence, our creativity, and our ability to connect emotionally with the world. First, let's talk about motivation. Motivation isn't some magical thing that's always there. It's like a plant. You have to water it, care for it, and give it light. And in 3D art, that means remembering why we started in the first place. Do you remember the first time you created something in 3D? That sense of wonder, of seeing how simple shapes turned into something tangible. That's what drives us. But what happens when those gray days come? When you feel like you're not making progress, like everything is oversaturated, or like the competition is just too much. That's when you need to go back to the basics. Enjoy the process. Don't just focus on the final result. Focus on every little step, every vertex you move, every texture you tweak, every render you perfect. That's where the magic happens. Now, let's talk about artificial intelligence. Yes, it's true that AI is advancing at an incredible pace. There are already tools that can generate 3D models, textures, and even animations in a matter of seconds. And it's easy to think, why keep going if a machine can do it faster? But here's the thing, AI is a tool, not a replacement. Artificial intelligence can mimic, it can generate, it can optimize, but it can't feel. It can't emotionally connect with a story, a character, or a world. It can't make creative decisions based on personal experiences, human emotions, or that unique spark only an artist can bring. Think of it this way, AI is like a paintbrush. A paintbrush doesn't make the artist. It's the artist who brings the brush to life. The same goes for AI. It's a tool we can use to enhance our work, not replace it. So, instead of seeing it as a threat, let's see it as an ally. Need to generate quick ideas? AI can help. Want to optimize your workflow? AI is there. But in the end, it's you who decides what to do with it. It's you who adds a human touch, who gives that project its soul. And here's the most important part. Motivation doesn't come from outside. It comes from within. We can't depend on the world to give us reasons to keep going. We have to create them ourselves. Set small, achievable goals. Don't try to do everything at once. Take it step by step. Today you model a piece, tomorrow you texture, the day after you light. Small wins that add up to something big. Surround yourself with inspiration. Follow other artists, join communities, watch tutorials, participate in challenges. Inspiration is contagious, and seeing what others are creating can reignite that spark in you. Remember your why. Why did you start in 3D art? What are you passionate about? When you feel your motivation slipping, go back to that why. Accept that there will be bad days. You won't always be at 100%, and that's okay. What matters is not giving up. A bad day doesn't define your career. Celebrate your achievements. Sometimes we focus so much on what's missing that we forget what we've already accomplished. Take a moment to celebrate your progress, no matter how small. And finally, remember this. 3D art isn't just a technical skill. It's a form of expression. It's about telling stories, conveying emotions, creating worlds that once only existed in imagination. That's something no machine can do. So, the next time you feel your motivation fading, or when AI makes you doubt yourself, remember who you are, an artist, someone with the ability to create something unique, something only you can bring to life. The future of 3D art isn't in machines. It's in us, in our creativity, in our passion, in our ability to innovate. So keep creating, keep learning, and above all, keep enjoying this journey, because the world needs more artists like you. You know, one thing that's always fascinated me about 3D art is how every artist has their own story, their own path. It doesn't matter if you're just starting out or if you've been doing this for years. There's always something new to discover, something that inspires you to keep going. For example, something we haven't talked much about is the importance of building a personal brand. It's not just about being good at what you do. It's about being recognized for it. Think about some of your favorite artists. What do they have in common? Many of them have a unique style, something that sets them apart. That's what makes them memorable. So, while you're working on your technical skills, think about what makes you special. What kind of stories do you want to tell? What style excites you? It's not about copying others. It's about finding your own voice. Because, in the end, that's what will set you apart in such a competitive field. But, of course, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. There are days when that voice in your head tells you, you're not good enough or everyone is better than you. That imposter syndrome. And trust me, we've all felt it. Even the most talented artists have days of doubt. The key is not to let it stop you. Instead of compare yourself to others, compare yourself to who you were yesterday. Look at your old projects and see how much you've improved. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small, because art isn't a competition. Everyone has their own pace, their own journey. What matters is that you keep growing and enjoy the process. And speaking of growing, the world of 3D art is constantly evolving. Every year, new tools, techniques, and trends emerge. It can be overwhelming to try to keep up with everything, but you don't have to learn all at once. Focus on what you're passionate about and build from there. For example, if you love character modeling, stay updated on the latest sculpting or texturing tools. If animation excites you, explore the newest advancements in rigging or simulation. And don't forget about online communities. Following other artists, participating in challenges, or joining group projects can be a huge source of inspiration and learning. Now, Something we often underestimate is the power of collaboration. In this field, you're not alone. There's a huge community of artists, designers, and developers who are on the same journey as you. Collaborating with others not only helps you learn new techniques, but also lets you see your work from a different perspective. Maybe you join a group project, participate in a game jam, or simply share ideas with other artists. Those connections can open doors you never imagined. And it's not just about collaborating with other artists. Talk to programmers, designers, producers. 3D art is an interdisciplinary field, and the more connections you make, the more opportunities will come your way. But of course, with so much work, it's easy to fall into the trap of never disconnecting. There's always something more to improve, a detail to tweak, a new project to start. And while it's great to be passionate, it's also crucial to learn how to balance work and personal life. Taking time to rest, to enjoy other things, to live, won't just help you avoid burnout. It'll also give you new perspectives and energy for your work. So, if you feel like you're working too much, take a break. Go for a walk. Read a book. Spend time with friends. Your creativity will thank you. And while we're talking about creativity, I can't help but mention the future. 3D art is in an incredible place right now, with technologies like virtual reality, augmented reality, and artificial intelligence transforming the industry. But how do we prepare for that future? The key is to be adaptable. Learn to use new tools, explore new areas, and stay open to change. For example, if you're interested in virtual reality, start experimenting with engines like Unity or Unreal Engine. If AI catches your attention, learn how it can enhance your workflow. The future isn't something that happens to us. It's something we create. And as 3D artists, we have the chance to be part of that creation. So stay curious, stay innovative, and above all, stay passionate. To wrap this up, I want to share something that always motivates me. The stories of other 3D artists who started from scratch and achieved incredible things. There are artists who began by teaching themselves, watching YouTube tutorials, and now they work at studios like Pixar or Blizzard. These stories remind us that success isn't about luck. It's about perseverance. It doesn't matter where you start. What matters is that you don't give up. So, if you ever feel like you're not making progress, remember that every great artist started somewhere, and you can get there too. So keep creating, keep learning, and most importantly, keep enjoying this journey, because the world needs more artists like you. You know, there's something that's always fascinated me about 3D art, and it's how it goes beyond just creating pretty or technically impressive models. It's also about telling stories. Every object, every character, every environment you create has a potential to convey something, to evoke emotions. For example, think about a character. It's not just their appearance that makes them interesting, but their story. Where do they come from? What do they live through? What emotions do they want to convey? The same goes for environments. A setting isn't just a collection of objects. It's a place that should make the viewer feel something. So, as you work on your projects, think about the story you want to tell. What do you want people to feel when they see your work? Because in the end, 3D art isn't just about technique. It's also about emotion and storytelling. But of course, it's not always easy to stay creative. Every artist at some point faces creative blocks. Those days when you don't know where to start, or when nothing you do seems to work. It's frustrating, but it's part of the process. When it happens to me, I usually do two things. First, I step away for a bit. Sometimes, forcing creativity only makes things worse. I go for a walk, listen to music, watch a movie. Letting your mind rest can work wonders. And second, I draw inspiration from other artists. Not to copy, but to remind myself why I love what I do. Seeing others' work reminds me that art is a journey, not a race. And every block is just a pause, not an end. Now, let's talk about something that isn't discussed much but is super important. Ethics in 3D art. With tools like artificial intelligence and 3D scanning, it's easy to cross certain lines without realizing it. For example, using models or textures without permission, or replicating someone else's work without giving credit. As artists, we have a responsibility to be honest and respectful of others' work. And then there's the issue of using technology responsibly. AI, for example, is a powerful tool, but we need to use it ethically. It's not about replacing human work, but complementing it. So, as we move forward in this field, let's remember that our creativity comes with responsibility. Let's create art that inspires, respects, and contributes positively. Another key aspect is feedback. Sometimes it can be hard to hear criticism about your work, but it's an essential part of growth. When someone gives you feedback, don't take it personally. Listen carefully. Ask yourself what you can learn from it and how you can improve. And if you don't agree, that's okay. You don't have to apply everything you're told, but it's always good to consider other perspectives. It's also important to actively seek feedback. Share your work in communities. Ask for opinions from other artists. Sometimes, a fresh pair of eyes can spot things you hadn't noticed. And speaking of communities, 3D art isn't just about entertainment or advertising. It also plays an important role in education and social impact. For example, it's used in medical simulations to train surgeons, in historical reconstructions to teach about the past, or in virtual reality projects to raise awareness about social issues. As 3D artists, we have the power to contribute to something bigger. We can create projects that educate, inspire, and drive change. And that's something priceless. So, if you ever feel like your work isn't having the impact you want, think about how you could use it to make a difference. 3D art isn't just a career. It's a tool to change the world. But, of course, one of the biggest challenges as an artist is maintaining curiosity and passion over the long term. Over time, It's easy to fall into a routine or feel like you've seen it all. But here's a secret. Curiosity is like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it gets. Try new things. Step out of your comfort zone. Maybe explore a different artistic style, learn a new tool, or dive into a personal project you've always wanted to do. And don't forget to enjoy the process. Sometimes we focus so much on the results that we forget why we started in the first place. Remember that 3D art is a journey, not a destination. And every step along the way is an opportunity to discover something new. Finally, I want to talk about personal projects. Sometimes when we work on commercial projects or for clients, we can feel like we're losing a bit of our essence. That's where personal projects come in. A personal project is your chance to create something you're truly passionate about without restrictions or limits. It's where you can experiment, take risks, and discover your voice as an artist. And the best part is, these projects not only help you grow, but can also open doors. Many artists have landed jobs or collaborations thanks to personal projects they shared online. So, if you have an idea that excites you, make it happen. It doesn't matter if it's not perfect or if it doesn't have a commercial purpose. What matters is that it inspires you and makes you proud of what you're capable of creating. So, as you continue on this 3D art journey, remember that it's not just about models and renders. It's about stories, emotions, and connections. It's about growing, learning, and above all, enjoying every moment. Because the world needs more artists like you. Well, I think this truck is almost ready. I just need to tweak a few details, and it'll be ready to render. But before I finish, I want to leave you with a question. What would you like to create in 3D? A character, a vehicle, an entire world? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your ideas. And if you like this video and want to see more content like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. I'll see you in the next video. We'll keep exploring the fascinating world of 3D art. See you later.